Spoiler alert, the Apple Watch Series 5 is the best smartwatch on the planet with the best smartwatch operating system out there, and it's not even close. Spoiler part 2, there's no way I'm keeping this watch. Let me explain why. It comes in a fairly slim body with a nice speaker on the side, a digital crown, and a regular button with impressive 44 or 40mm screens, which are bright and colorful and go nearly to the edge of the watch. You can scan the electrical activity in your body to detect health abnormalities, and you can get alerts for heart rate issues. You can track your runs with a built-in GPS, and you can always stay connected by streaming audio and getting phone calls and text messages on the go with built-in cellular connectivity. And I just described the Apple Watch Series 4 because the Apple Watch Series 5 is the Apple Watch Series 4 with 2 changes. And I don't think those changes are worth it nearly at all. So the first new feature is compass. Now when Apple announced this, a lot of people in the crowds cheered.
A built-in compass.
I think that had to have been a lot of Apple employees because truthfully, who is that excited for compass? Now I know there are some people out there, people who hike and who adventure a lot. They're going to use compass, it's going to help them navigate around. But for ordinary people, I mean, I've used this once since I got this smartwatch, and it was just to see where the sun was going to set in a particular location that I was. I just wanted to see where west was. Most people kind of can figure that out anyway without even needing the compass. I really don't think this is going to be super practical for almost anybody on a day-to-day basis. The people in the crowd definitely were hired to clap, or just Apple employees in general. Now to be fair, this does help with direction in the Maps app, but that wasn't totally needed. If you use the compass in your daily life, leave a comment down below letting me know how, but I think for the vast majority of people, the compass app is never going to be opened. Now the second big feature is always on display, and once you have it, you look back at older watches and you see how bland and bleak a black screen is. When you're not using it, that black screen just doesn't look that good because no real watch in the real world has a blank screen when you're not looking at it. So having an always on display is really nice. And when you're in different watch faces, it has different effects. So for the watch face that I typically use, the utility watch face, when I slap my wrist, it basically just takes off the second hand and dims the display. For other ones, it'll invert the colors. So if you have a white watch face, it'll make it black. It looks really clean. It'll keep most of the information and complications on the display so you can quickly still see that without turning your wrist. Now this has come in handy a couple of times when I've been in a situation where I didn't want to flip my wrist, or a situation where I didn't want to make it too obvious I was checking the time. But there was always the ability to rotate the digital crown to slowly turn on the time, or just a tap of the screen could do the same thing. But admittedly, a couple times this has been useful. But outside of that, this feature has been far less useful than I anticipated. For instance, the only app that you can really use this in outside of the default watch face or kind of your home screen would be the activity app. When you're doing an activity, you can see the darkened version of this so that when you're running, for instance, you don't have to do that wrist turn to get the time, you can just see it. But even Apple's other apps, such as the stopwatch and the timer, it doesn't work. So I would love to have the ability to set a 2-minute timer or to set a stopwatch on this watch, get into a playing position when I'm doing core, and be able to see what my time was on the stopwatch without having to rotate my wrist. You can't do that. It just gives you the current time, and pretty much any application that you're using, the always on mode, if it's not on your watch face, is just going to give you the time. That's not that useful. When I'm running with the Strava app or the Work Outdoors app, I want to see my workout data when it is in always display. I'm not very concerned with the time of the day. I'm concerned with the data of my run, and the same applies for other applications. If you are not in the watch face, it just gives you the time, and that's not all that useful. All right, now a quick word from the sponsor. Monowear makes some killer leather and other premium material bands for the Apple Watch. I was really blown away. Like, I have this nice maroon color. It matches a lot of the bands and outfits that I use already because of my school colors. And it smells like leather, it feels like leather, and it probably tastes like leather if I wanted to try that. They're pretty reasonably priced. They come in a lot of colors and different styles. I really like that the lugs on here are black and they're dark, so it matches my Apple Watch in the space gray. It's a really great bands options, and I'll leave a link down in the description, and you can use our coupon code to get a nice discount. Anyway, I definitely recommend checking out Monowear. So Apple is claiming the same battery as the Series 4, which would be great if it could do the Series 4 battery with an always-on display. But the Series 4 actually surpassed what Apple claimed, and this one gets about what Apple claims or less. So for the first couple days I had this watch, I had always on turned on, and I ran for about 90 minutes with GPS, and I actually finished the day with battery life, and that was excellent. Like, that was really good. But my watch didn't have cellular activated yet, and I had do not disturb on for most of the day, so not a whole lot of notifications were going on the watch. When I turned off do not disturb and activated cellular, battery life isn't really making it through a whole day with a run. That's just not good, right? Like, the previous watch would make it through a full day, this one doesn't. And so I've seen a couple people on Twitter actually turning off always on, which almost to me literally makes this a completely useless upgrade if that's the case. Okay, so compass isn't super useful. Always on is make or break depending on your usage. Okay, at least this is a faster watch, right? Like, every year the Apple Watch has gotten a processor improvement. It has gotten quicker, and that's nice because I think the Apple Watch's biggest limiting factor right now is performance. Like, it slows down in a couple of years, and that technology is affected more than any other aspect of the watch. But no, Apple included the same processor in the Series 5 as the Series 4. They did that with the iPad 2019 as well, the first time that they've shipped kind of a new product with the same processor and called it like the next year's generation. That's really weird and really disappointing because the processor is one of the big reasons I go to a new Apple Watch. It's not slow, like, it's certainly not slow, but it does not have that new watch zippiness and that pop that I've come to expect. Now, this is tricky because Apple doesn't sell the Series 4 Apple Watch anymore, which they know, right? Like, people would buy the Series 4 if Apple still offered it at a cheaper price. So your options from Apple are a Series 3 or a Series 5. Obviously, if you're going into the Apple Store and you want the best, you're going to get a Series 5. So I recommend checking out Amazon or Swappa or eBay or Best Buy or any of these places for new Apple Watch Series 4s or even refurbished and save a lot of money. Or otherwise, the Series 3 is a really good price. I do plan on getting a Series 3 for an undisclosed recipient for Christmas because it is a good deal to get somebody into the Apple Watch market. But other than that, I think the Apple Watch Series 5 is exactly what the Apple Watch Series 4 should have been. This is technology I think Apple could have done already, and the fact that they're doing it now and asking you to completely upgrade your watch, I'm not doing it. I'm not keeping the Apple Watch Series 5. I'm happily going to go back to my Series 4 with better battery life, the same processor, and a cheaper price tag. That's good for me. Now, to be fair, the Series 5 does come in double storage, 32 gigabytes. So if you're somebody that ran low on storage with the Series 4, this will be great for loading up music and more. I never ran out of storage, so I don't think that's a huge deal. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the Series 5. Do you use always on display? Do you use compass? Let me know. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.